Deputy Mary Butler, 30 seconds to introduce.
Garv Mahagud, Lascian Corla. Minister, my question is, will you consider undertaking a road traffic and speed survey on a portion of the N25 from Kilmeaden to Carr's Cross?
Number 9.
I'd like to thank the Deputy for her question. And I have to repeat what I've already said to other deputies, but I will be as helpful as I possibly can within that context. As Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport, I have responsibility for overall policy and funding in relation to the National Roads Programme. Under the Roads Act 1993 to 2015, the planning, design and operation of individual roads is a matter for the relevant road authority in relation to local and regional roads, or for Transport Infrastructure Ireland in conjunction with the local authorities concerned in relation to national roads. Consequently, Transport Infrastructure Ireland and the local authorities have responsibility for signs and road markings in accordance with the Traffic Signs Manual, which is issued under my direction as Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport. The Traffic Signs Manual sets out the standards for signing and road markings to be used on all roads in the country. With regard to the specific question raised by the Deputy, I understand from TII the N25 route was remarked under the National Road Delineation Programme in 2015. Road markings on each road route are designed from end to end by a contracted competent team in accordance with the TSM. Any non-compliant markings or markings that do not accord with the provisions of the manual are removed as part of the remarking contract. Proposals regarding safety improvement works are matters which are normally developed in the first instance by the relevant local authority, in this case Waterford City and County Council. In order for TII to fully consider any such proposals relating to national roads, the local authority is required to carry out an analysis of the collision history at the location and design an appropriate scheme to deal with any safety issues identified. In addition, the local authority is required to carry out an economic appraisal of the proposal, fully cost the scheme, prepare a feasibility study and prioritise the scheme in relation to other works being proposed by the local authority. There are no specific road markings or arrows for turn-offs for residential access. All junctions are marked in accordance with the provisions of the TSM, as I have just outlined. Ultimately, the aim is to have consistency of approach across the country, and it's the responsibility of each local authority in conjunction with TII with regard to national roads to ensure that the appropriate standards as set out in the TSM are adhered to. Adhering to a consistent approach to road signs and markings delivers better safety results.
Deputy Butler.
Your answer actually really explains the problem. And if I could just explain briefly, the road we're talking about is the N25, so it's the main road, obviously, from Waterford to Cork. So any traffic that is exiting from Rosslare Port and it's coming down the motorway, it's coming to the N25. Traffic is naturally fast as vehicles have just exited the motorway. Now, you've quite rightly said that the delineation was carried out in 2015. Unfortunately, the delineation was very good in parts, but it was not quite as good in other parts. And I know you stated there that in areas where there's residential people living, that they won't put in markings. But the problem we have is that you have people exiting the motorway 2 miles up the road on the right-hand side. There are 8 houses on a residential road. It's called Kilmaggy Mogue East. And this road leads on to another road that has 100 houses. Now, so you can just imagine there's a lot of traffic. The school bus is on this road as well. And there is major concerns from the residents living there that there's going to be a serious accident. So it's a simple requirement looking for line markings on a road for health and safety purposes.
Minister for Supply.
Well, I'd say the Deputy, she becomes more convincing the more I listen to her. The point she makes, I think, is probably a good one, but the issue of road safety is obviously what she's really getting at here. And I suppose to some extent I didn't understand that from the question. I think if she wants to make representations on that, it would be best if she did make a representation, as you know, to the TII on that and see what they have to say about it. They have a particular interest, and indeed they have funding available for road safety black spots. And what I say to her is this: is when we're addressing issues of this sort, they obviously look at the collision record in this area. If they're looking for, if they're considering it for special treatment. And the TII, I think, is always particularly sympathetic when road safety issues are raised, particularly if there's evidence, if it's evidence-based, that there are dangers on this particular stretch of road. So I suggest she makes that particular suggestion to them.
Thank you, Minister, and I will make a representation to the TII. And it's just, if I could reiterate again, I suppose, the main reason why the residents are so concerned, because on other road exits, whether they're laneways or whether they're secondary roads, there are markings, and they can't understand for their particular roadway why there wouldn't be any markings. And they're just very, very concerned every time they indicate a turn right that they will be rear-ended from behind because of the speed of other traffic exiting the motorway. Thank you very much.
Minister.
I'll say to the Deputy, I will not, obviously I can't get involved in this directly myself, I don't think, but what I will do, because I think she's made a very good case for this, I would suggest that she makes a case to the TII, provides a full record of what has happened on that road, particularly any accidents which have occurred, which would make a convincing case. And I will refer her case to them, because I think that road safety must be the top priority, and it's one of the ingredients of our war against road safety, that TIA should spend on black spots a certain amount of money. And so I will recommend to them that they look at this and put this on their list as something to be examined, and do it in the near future.